quartet we learnt was actually number 6 when we were still students at the Royal College of Music. We were preparing for the London String Quartet competition, and it was one of our set works. So that was actually the first quartet we discovered together. And we've since gone on to obviously play all of them a lot. So it seemed quite a natural progression for us to record them, although of course it's incredibly daunting because to have all 6 on the go at any time and just the thought of putting them down is quite a scary thing, but we're very excited about it.
Definitely still very much considered as modern and quite difficult for the audiences and for the performers to actually immerse themselves in them, especially the late quartets, which have an incredibly advanced, which are based on a very, very advanced rhythmic and harmonic language, and may appear at first quite unfriendly. However, I think the more we ourselves immersed ourselves in these works, the more beauty and richness we are discovering in them, and we very much hope that that his appeal will be increasing in the future, because we definitely consider these quartets to be probably the greatest masterpieces of the last century in our repertoire. There's a wonderfully lyrical episode there, definitely based on Eastern European folk music, which has a lot of nostalgic quality to it, and it's very beautiful, and especially when it's juxtaposed, as Laura said before, in between these very, very stark harmonies and very aggressive rhythms. It sort of stands on its own as a sort of a very, very nostalgic picture of something, perhaps the world that has no longer was when Bartok was writing this quartet. There's a very striking rhythm pattern there, which is based on a Bulgarian folk rhythm. It took years and years and years to finally feel that it's sort of in our bloodstream. But once you get that feeling, it's an absolutely fantastic feeling.
I think the challenge for us in this work, particularly, especially in the recording studio, is that the characters have to be so formed so quickly, because often the elements are very short, that in a sense it's been quite illuminating to hear when we hear back that, immediately you have to grab the attention of the listener, because sometimes it's literally a few bars that you have to establish a character, and then we're straight on to something different. I think we always love coming up here. I mean, certainly now the thought of recording in London and kind of schlepping on a tube to get somewhere and then having a definite cut-off time at the end of a session is not something that we would like to explore. So certainly the feeling of relaxation here and just having the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, is amazing. I mean, I love number 1 because it's so lush and romantic in its writing, but then of course it gets more defined as Bartok, I think, later on in the quartets. Certainly number 6 that we've played a lot recently. I'm sure Christoph, being the viola player in the quartet, would say that might be his favourite. But I mean, they all have wonderful qualities. It's very hard to...
I think the number 4 and number 5 presented the pinnacle of his development in his musical language, whereas number 6 is a sort of valedictory piece where he almost, of course, the technique, the compositional technique is wonderful there, but the music goes much further than that, whereas the number 4 and 5 are absolutely the pinnacle of his compositional method and imagination. And so, but it would be very difficult to pick one because you would then feel sorry for not mentioning the others, because they're all really fantastic pieces.